Welcome to the Prospecting Today podcast. Today we are joined with Nick Krautter. Hopefully I got that last name right. Did I get it right,
Perfect.
Nick? Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining us. And I think you guys are really going to like what Nick has to say because he came up with this whole method of it's called the golden handoff, but basically what it is it's figuring out how to retire as a real estate agent, right, Nick? Can you tell us
It's about how to actually get paid for your business when you're done selling. And it's something that most realtors, when they retire, they just walk away and they don't realize there's this huge valuable asset that they own, and it's basically all the relationships they built over their career.
So what is the golden handoff?
So the golden handoff is a process of basically finding an agent, who I call an adopting agent, to do the work that we all do, to make calls, to send the newsletters, to go to the appointments. So when an agent's done selling, their business just goes away. Everyone knows 5 or 6 other realtors, and if you retire, they go find another realtor they already know, is what happens most of the time. The golden handoff is you pick someone to take over for you and take on your clients like their own clients, and then do the work of a realtor, which is to, like I said, to basically be in relationship. And when you do that with an endorsement from the retiring agent, it works incredibly well. And those clients are very likely, if you've done a good job as an agent, to stick with a person you endorse.
Great. So explain to me or walk me through how you pick one that you know is going to be retiring, I guess if you're going to be retiring, it could go either way. Can you, as a newbie agent, approach a retiring agent, or is this better if a retiring agent picks you moving forward?
So I would say this is still a pretty new idea. This book came out a couple years ago, and I still present all over the country, and people are hearing it for the first time a lot of times. The book sold really well, but there's 1.5 million people that are realtors in the U.S. I would love if every one of them had read it, but they haven't. And so I would say for agents that are growing their business, it's a great way. It's part of how I grew my business. And I started in Portland. I was new to town. I was new to real estate. I knew 5 people here when I started in real estate. And now we have a database of 16,000 people. In just 13 years, I built that from 5 to 16,000. And a big part of that was we were able to grow in leaps and bounds. So agent would retire, I would take over their business. 300 new clients. Agent would retire, we take over the business. 200 new clients. You know this, and everyone listening knows this. To go find 300 new clients, clients, not leads, but actual clients, it takes years. And you can do it overnight when you are taking over databases and books of business from agents who are getting out of real estate.
How do you figure out if they're getting out of real estate, Nick? When's that golden moment to ask for that golden handoff?
The best time is before they've decided to finally hang it up, because what most agents do when they're retiring is they kind of phase out. So they don't go from 50 million a year to 0. They do 50 million one year, and then 40, and then 32, and then 10. And all those people that they were working with are still doing stuff. They're just doing it with other agents now. So I would say ideally for a top agent who's retiring, years before they actually hang it up. And you can slowly start taking on their business as they phase out and take on more and more of the responsibility. Maybe they love listings, but they don't like working with buyers. So at first you just take over the buyers. Maybe they like buyers and sellers, but they don't like first-time buyers. So you take over that to begin with. Maybe there's parts of town that they're not as familiar with or that they don't like to work. So you take that part of town. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's easier if you can start the conversation before someone's totally done, because the relationships will be stronger. But even if someone's already hung it up and they're done, you can still make it work, because people move about every 10 years. So just because someone hasn't called their clients in a year doesn't mean that it's not going to work.
Okay, wonderful. So what is a good way to approach someone and ask them if they're willing to do this kind of golden handoff?
So the script I use and I teach is very simple. I would ask everyone listening today to write down the names of 5 agents whose businesses they would love to have. And I would just simply give them a call and say, hey, Joe, I've watched you and your business for years, and I've always admired how you run your business and how successful you are. And I would love to talk to you about what are your plans when you're done selling. And most of those agents won't have an answer. They won't know. Oh, I don't know. I'll just probably slow down, or oh, I've got a friend I'll refer stuff to. They don't have a plan. And so you say, hey, I read this book, The Golden Handoff, and I listened to this great podcast, and I'd love to talk to you about this process I just learned about, so that you can get some referral income and some benefit for all the years of hard work you've put in, and not just walk away and get nothing. Because they might get a referral or two, but we all know this. Like, as soon as your clients know you're retired, they're not going to bug you anymore. They've already got someone else they're going to call.
Right, exactly. So, in this approach that you recommend that they take, is there ever any type of rejection that comes out, or any type of rejected responses, if you will, that come that they can combat in some way, or things that you've thought through that you can help them with?
So a couple of the objections you'll get is one, oh, geez, well, I don't even have a database. There's a lot of successful agents that haven't built a database or kept up with it. That being said, there's some great technology tools that will help people build a database from scratch. So a system called Close, you just connect the phone and the email, and it sucks all the clients into one spot. And then you just have a list to sort out who's clients and who's not. Contactually is another system that will allow you to do that. So that's one thing you're going to get, is a lot of times when agents are retiring, they don't have a very well curated database, or they don't have one at all. So help them build it. I've had a couple agents that they're just so burned out that they don't even want to even think about trying to look at their database and figure out who's who. I think that's a huge mistake, because even a small business can be worth a fortune. And another one I've heard is from the more successful agents is that, hey, I've got all these rentals and I've made millions of dollars a year for years and I don't need the money and I'm just kind of done. And I think the way to combat that is two things. It isn't just about them. Their clients don't want to have to go find a new agent. They want to have someone they can trust to call on. Just like how if you have a good attorney or a good CPA or a good doctor, you don't want to have to go change because they retired. You want them to help you with that. The other thing is there's got to be something in their world that they care enough about that they could use the profits from this to support. So if they don't need the money to pay for their vacations and their retirement, maybe it could be donated to their church. Maybe it could be donated to a nonprofit. Maybe it could create college funds for grandkids, or college funds for strangers who are in need that they could support and help. Maybe if it's big enough, it could help build low-income housing. There's got to be something out there that's meaningful, that isn't for them, that they could use this to help support.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk to us about the golden calculator, because you've even come up with a way that kind of puts a price tag on what their business is worth.
Yeah, so the whole process is based on a referral agreement, but instead of a referral agreement for one client, it's a referral agreement for every client that the agent has. So imagine that if you had a client call you and say, hey, I want to refer you 500 new people. And that really, we're onboarding a database right now of 285 people. So this is something that I help people with all the time, and I'm helping 2 other agents do this for 500 clients. So the calculator basically takes the math, which is you need to know how many repeat and referral clients you have per year, because those are the people most likely to stick with you. So if your business is 50% repeat and referral and you do 40 deals a year, it would be 20 of those repeat and referral, and then your average commission. And if you know those two numbers, you can use the calculator and it will show you what the business will be worth on the referral income to the retiring agent, and it'll show you what the compounding value of that business is worth to you as the adopting agent. So on the adopting side, it basically assumes that for those deals over 3 years, the average referral fee is 20%, and that for every 2 clients you close, that you'll get 1 other lead that you close. And so it kind of adds those 2 together and comes up with a number that I think when you look at it, it'll be pretty impressive. I just saw someone shared their calculator with me, and it was 25 deals a year at $10,000, and over 3 years, it was worth $1 million to the adopting agent.
Wow.
And that's a pretty serious number.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me get this straight. So the origin of this thought process was you as an agent just figuring out how to grow your database?
Yeah, so basically in 2011, which was the bottom of the market for most people, and it was here in Portland, Oregon, where I'm based, one of my friends who had the office next door decided to get out of the real estate business. And it was for family reasons. She had started a family and had a second child, and now that she had two kids, it was just too much to raise a family and be on call all the time. And so I asked her if I could help her clients and if I could stay in touch with them and to give her referral fees. And that's what started all of this was back in 2011, that conversation with a friend when she was leaving. And because of that, we put together the agreement of how we were going to share the money. And that's all available if you sign up for the newsletter on goldenhandoff.com. The first thing you'll get is copies of the contract, scripts, marketing letters I use, all of that stuff that you can edit and change. It's all Word doc and Publisher. So you can add it, put your face and logo and info on it and tweak it how you want. It's all templates are there for you. And so I built all those with her, and she's in the book too. Her name's Renee. And then basically documented the process of what we did, of how we announced it and what I did afterwards. And it's really exciting to be onboarding a new business right now because it's another one that's really solid, heavy referral base, close in Portland, core market. And I think a lot of the people in it are already familiar with our company and brand. And so I'm really excited. I'm projecting that we'll do 4 to 5 million in sales from that this next year. So probably 100 to 150,000 in GCI additional to what we would do otherwise. And, if we do 150,000 in GCI, it'll be a $50,000 referral fee over the course of the year to that retiring agent. And I would love to hit a number like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there ever been a part of you that's been like, man, why haven't agents thought of doing this all along? Like, it's such a great way to grow your database just overnight.
Yeah, I think the reason why this isn't as popular as some other business building strategies is I think so many people in real estate get caught up in this idea of they want some piece of technology that's going to make it easy and fun to be more successful, or they want like a coaching program that's going to make it easy and fun. And this is I like to say, a get rich slow program. So it works. It absolutely works for anyone if you just follow the process, but it involves sending newsletters and making calls and being in relationship with people. And that takes time and it takes energy. And depending on how you run your business, it also takes some money. And so I think that that's the thing that people will much more likely pay $1,000 to go to a seminar to learn how to get, 20 listings in the next 20 days. But to learn about a program that will make you wealthy over time, it's not quite as sexy. I think the other thing is so many agents feel that their relationship is so unique and they're this special unicorn and their relationship with their client is so unique. And I have a big enough business to be humbled to know that we are all replaceable, even when you do a great job of staying in touch with people. And it's for a ton of different reasons. But I think that mindset has prevented people from believing someone else could do a great job with their clients or an even better job with their clients than that they did. And I can tell you that in my experience, if you follow the process and you do your marketing and you stay in touch with people, I think you should expect to get about the same production from the database as the agent who retires. So if someone's doing 10 million a year and you take over their business, I would bet that if you do it right, you can do 10 million in sales from that same list of people.
So on that thought process, let's just take it one step. So you get this golden handoff, Nick. What do you do with that? What is your first step in making that new database your database?
So the first step comes from the retiring agent, and we help take care of this. So there's an announcement letter that goes to their whole database from them. And a lot of times we manage that for them. That basically says, hey, I'm retiring. I wanted to make sure there was someone to take care of you guys because I really appreciate you helping me in my career over the last 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is. I've picked Nick and his team to help out, and they're great. They've been doing it X number of years. They sell X number of houses a year. And I've known Nick, and he's a great guy, and he's going to take great care of you. He'll be following up. You'll be getting his newsletter, and he's going to be calling to take great care of you. And you can always reach out to me if you have a question. So that goes out in the mail. It goes out in the email. And then the next step is that I and my team start calling and introducing ourselves. And there's a very easy script that works very well when you make these calls, because these aren't cold calls. These are warm calls. It's like you're calling your own clients, because if they like and trust the agent who retired, they're going to want to work with you. And as long as you just keep your promise to doing the things you say you do, they're going to be there to work with you when you're ready and when they're ready. And the script is this. So you say, hi, this is Nick. I promised Renee that I'd give you a call and see if you had any real estate questions or needs. And I just wanted to introduce myself and get to know you. And that's it. It's very simple. But keep in mind, they've gotten an email from their retiring agent. They've gotten a letter. I asked the retiring agent to call their top clients and personally tell them, just so that it's more personal. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to call the whole database because none of a retiring agent wants to do that. But, their top 20, 30, 40 people, whatever that is for them, to give them a personal call and let them know before they get the email and the letter. And then you call and just introduce yourself. And so by the time you make those calls, all of these people have gotten an email and a letter saying, Nick's going to call, Nick's going to call, Nick's going to call. And then you call. And so you're keeping your promise. And the other part of that script that's really subtle, but it works, is you're saying, hey, I'm calling because I promised Renee I would give you a call and check in. And so it's really hard for someone to be upset at someone keeping a promise to someone they like. And those calls will go probably better than you expect. That's something that I would bet if that agent has a good relationships, it's going to go really well for you.
Fantastic. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add about this program or this process?
I think, yeah, I think for all of the agents here that are looking to grow their business, it's also a reminder that taking care of your client list and your database and making sure it's updated and making sure you're staying in touch is probably the most important thing you can do, because that is our most important asset in real estate, is our relationships. And the only way you can stay in relationship is if you know how to get a hold of people. And so making sure that you're diligent about that is huge. And then when you're ready to retire, taking the time to make sure that that's done, and that your database is complete and accurate just makes it more valuable for you when you're ready to retire and for someone else to take over. And so I would say my biggest regret was when I started, I was great at meeting people, but I was pretty hit and miss about putting them in the database because I was so busy because I didn't have help. But it's one of those things that if I could go back and give myself one piece of advice, it would be take the time to make sure you stay in touch with everyone, because you never know, that one person who didn't call you back for 2 years might have $1 million house to sell and they just weren't ready yet.
Absolutely. So Nick, again, how can everybody reach you? How can they learn about the Golden Handoff?
Yeah, so goldenhandoff.com. If you sign up for the newsletter there, you'll get copies of all the scripts and contracts and letters. There's also the calculator there. There's the tab right at the top, so you can see what your business is worth. You can run an analysis on other businesses you're thinking of buying. If you're not a big reader, you can listen to it. It's also on Audible. So you can get the book on Amazon, or if you want a signed copy, you can buy it directly through the website. And I also do webinars for offices that want to do, large orders of the book, and there are a couple other options as well for getting involved with that if you want to share it with your office or your region or your company.
Okay, great. And I'll also put that website in our show notes so that people can find it that way as well. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.